Plus, a woman with a fatal disease
I've got a lot of life left in me.
keeps hope alive for others like her.
The woman lives for everyone else.
That's what's coming up right now on Montel.
Next we meet a woman who says her recent diagnosis means pregnancy could end her life. Take a look at this.
Michael and I were best friends for a while, for a long time. We've been married since August 2004. We were excited to finally have children. It was a very hopeful time. In December of 2004, I just had this vague discomfort, nothing acute, and I thought, well, if we're going to start a family, I better feel really good. And so I made an appointment to see my physician. Everything really came back normal, blood tests, urine tests. We decided that a CT scan of my kidneys might be a good idea, and it was that scan that showed a small mass next to one of my kidneys and small scattered cysts in the base of my lungs. By mid-April 2005, I had a diagnosis. When I first heard the name of this disease, I thought, that sounds really ugly. Lymphangioleiomyomatosis, and the short word is LAM.
So the first thing I did was turn to a textbook and opened it up, and the first thing you read says, most patients don't survive more than 5 years after diagnosis. And my heart sunk.
It affects exclusively women, usually in their childbearing years. It's fatal.
It's one of the few diseases that have no treatment, and no treatment clearly means no cure. So we've started an organization called the LAM Treatment Alliance. And following that, we started to raise public awareness and raise money to fund research.
I want to live. I'm not ready to die. I've got a lot of life left in me, and I'll do anything in my power to help find a treatment in the fastest time possible.
Please welcome Amy to the show. Right before we came up, I said tough, right? And you said coping through?
Action.
And that's really the only thing you get. Let's back up for a second. The doctor says to you, and you know what? I'm trying my best to pronounce that correctly. Go ahead, say it for me. This disorder has 26 letters in one word. Right? I read it, I count them. What is it?
It's easier if you break it down.
Okay.
Lymphangioleiomyomatosis.
Which is LAM.
So the short version, it's not really an acronym, the short version is LAM, but I'm frustrated somewhat by that name because it sounds like a soft, cuddly animal, and this is so ugly.
Not soft and cuddly. Let's talk about what this disease is. Your body is basically forming tumors.
Cysts, growths.
Growths. And I'll do this in layman's terms.
Yeah.
Predominantly throughout your lung area, but it can be throughout your whole body.
It can be. The fatal part is the lungs. You need them.
Of course.
So it's the lungs that you suffocate to death. But there's still time to stop it. And it's progressing, we know, but there's still time to stop it, and it's...
And how is research right now? Research is crazy. Have they made any strides at all?
So there have been strides, and we know some things about the disease. First of all, it only affects women. Usually your childbearing years, so this is us.
And what's the population of people who have this disease right now in the United States?
The important answer to that question is that we don't know. It's commonly misdiagnosed as
emphysema, other asthma,
bronchitis,
other lung disorders.
Other lung disorders in non-smoking women in their childbearing years, and pregnant women are diagnosed with this disease during pregnancy, and it's really, being in the middle of giving birth, they go to contemplating their own death.
And they've also suggested that now that you've been diagnosed, not to have children because it could exacerbate this thing and speed up its process.
Right, so they think there's some connection to estrogen. We don't understand it yet, which is something I want to get back to, what we're trying to mobilize. But, right, so the understanding is that during pregnancy, it may accelerate the disease because your levels of estrogen go up.
And is it a disease that's growing? Is it a disease, did your doctor say, we saw you're the first person I've seen but I just heard about another 10 of you?
Right.
Is this something that my viewers should be aware of or be afraid of?
So listen, so get this. So on average, people go 4 years without a correct diagnosis. I attribute the fact that it took me 4 months to get my diagnosis to the fact that I was in one of the most, what do you say, a very
prestigious,
prestigious academic medical center.
Which was Harvard.
Right. The diagnosis was suggested there, and I had to go to the National Institutes of Health for a more definitive diagnosis.
I got to take a break. All this clinical discussion doesn't answer
what
a
we can
single
do about
question.
it.
Not that so much, no. What we're going to do about it, we'll figure that out later.
Okay.
How have you been dealing with this? And that's really the question.
Right.
I'm going to take a break, and I want you to come back and tell me this, because you just got married, you were getting ready to work on a family, and now we're contemplating our mortality. Let me take a break. We'll be back right after this.